I previously made an hand lift truck, but I realized that a ladder could do the same job if you have access to some parts and another way of transport like a scissor table. For lifting weight with a ladder, I suggest to have a rollable table or something you can put under the elevated object. Luckily, I have my scissor table. The basic idea is to elevate a heavy object enough to get it to a convenient height where transport is easier. Also, if it's a bulky object and it's hard to grab, there is no need to lift it with an uncomfortable posture. The interesting part is that you can modify this basic idea to your specific needs and ideas. The next 5 minutes of this video gonna be me assemble the table back together, even if that is a great advertisement how easy and fast you can assemble it. If you're not interested in this table, you can skip to minute 5 to get to the actual setup of the lifting ladder. Here I adjust the screws and then I put the screws in, and I'm gonna do that for the right side exactly now, and then we're gonna go to the upper left side, and after this I'm gonna screw the upper right side. Here I had some additional screws, I brought them because I missed some, and the bottom part of the scissor table is done. So we're gonna go to the upper part of the scissor table, and I put the scissors in the exact position like the scissors should be, and now I'm gonna take some disposable gloves to be protected from lithium grease, because these bolts I'm gonna grab are completely full of lithium grease, and that's because I have a part of my axial bearing in this cardboard box. These long bolts belong where I put them, and yes, they're gonna fit nicely after I adjust the scissors to the hole, and then everything gonna be good. The next part is to put the self-locking nut on the bolt. That was the self-locking nut. Then I'm gonna do this procedure to the right side of the scissor legs. And because I aligned the scissor legs, it will fit perfectly with no struggle. A washer in this occasion is a really good idea. So I take the lamp and give me light to see where I put the washer. And there is the washer, and here comes the self-locking nut. Now I have grease on my thumb, and I'm really irritated, so I smear it on the cardboard box, and now the cardboard box is full of grease, and I'm a bit more happy about it. And I put more grease on the cardboard box because I want to be more happier. This beautiful rod belongs exactly in this position, but I forgot to put the upper lip on the axial bearing. Here is the upper lip. So upper part of axial bearing is on, and now I put the rod in the axial bearing. And there is the nut, the flange nut, and I adjust the flange nut so I can put the rod into the flange nut. Now the bottom part gets aligned on the scissor table, on the scissors, and here I try to put the long bolts in, but it took a bit more time to align the scissors with the holders to get this long bolt through the holes. Finally, I was successful and I could tighten the bolt on the scissor legs. At this point, the ladder already is staying above the object. In my case, that is a sewing machine with a weight of approximately 25 kg. You should have a sturdy beam with a convenient length. I'm gonna strap that beam down on both sides of the ladder. Here I fimbling the straps and fimbling, fiddly stuff, and then I go to the other side, put on the strap. Strap needs tightening, the other side is too loose, needs also tightening. I tighten here and I tighten there. And slightly tightening, and it's firm on there. Yes, now I assemble the winch with the wooden adapter on the beam. Here I lock the carabine in place of the upper part of the ladder. It's not showing, but there is a part where I can put the carabine. I also connect the pulley system with the carabine. As you can see, the winch and the cord is twisted. So the cord goes through the pulley system and blocks the other cords, and I reassembled everything off camera. So everything is working fine and I didn't mess up. I wasn't acting like a loose goose. And here I position the sewing machine. So the sewing machine is right under the ladder like this. The sewing machine can get pulled straight upwards. So the sewing machine won't hit anything. The next step was to arrange some straps around the sewing machine, make a sturdy knot and lock them on the pulley with another carabine. And that is basically it. This is the most MacGyver I can get today. You don't need a lot to lift heavy with a ladder. You need a winch, a pulley, or in my case a system of 6 pulleys, what means the weight is divided by 6 times, which equals 4 kg. Also the winch has a gear ratio, which makes this even more a breeze. Then you have the beam, which holds the winch in place, and the straps hold the beam in place. The idea that the weight pushes the ladder in the ground and at the same time puts the ladder upwards was pretty scary, and I expected an implosion, but to my surprise this works really well. I think triangles aren't that dangerous anymore. I'm amazed how good this setup is working. If we simplify the setup, it's just a frame attached with a winch. In this case, a triangle. Bermuda triangle? You could take any rigid frame and attach a winch and a pulley. The convenience of this one comes from the mobility, storability and rigidity of the ladder. I crank and crank and crank and crank until the sewing machine is at the highest point and the pulleys are blocking each other. So I put in the brake, and now I can be occupied with putting the sitter table underneath the sewing machine. A big cushion would be great, and I take cardboard to cushion the sewing machine, and now I crank again, and the sewing machine will go down on the scissor tape, and it is cushioned with cardboard, so it is in protection, and protection is good. At this point I can take off the carbine, and now I perform baby wraps and elevate the scissor table a bit more to have access to the sewing machine. And that is it. That is the end of this video. See ya till next time.